So Carl and I also celebrate a 20th anniversary of the Billie Jean King Cup, and he told us before we went on air that he has a poster hanging in the back of
Yes,
his room.
yes.
But so Belgium is playing America in Belgium in the same venue where I played with Kirsten Flipkens, who is now one of the coaches. And my childhood friend Carl Maes, and Carl was my coach. And we played in Ostende, which is where they're playing now. So exactly the same setup 20 years later. So yeah.
It's amazing. I live in Spain at the moment, but I'm flying to Belgium, so
To
I'm going to
commentate,
be
or
there. No, not
you're
commentating,
gonna
but
watch?
I'm going to be watching very closely and seeing, of course, a lot of friends back and stuff like that. So yeah, that was 2006, and a small correction because I was working for the LTA then already, and I was no longer your private coach because that was a bit of an issue. Maybe we can get into that. So, but in 2006, that probably was, in terms of my Fed Cup years, then Fed Cup, now Billie Jean King Cup, it had a highlight in beating USA as well, of course, but beating Russia in the quarterfinals and then having an anticlimax in the final against Italy. So that's like that. That was a great campaign that 2006 year. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch a plane, so maybe we can dive deeper into that one on another time.
Yeah. I have a lot of fun memories from that one. Carl
Yes,
brought up one that I kind of maybe forgot about, Zena, who was the coach at the time, right? Having food
yes.
poisoning, and
Oh
Poor
my
Carl
God.
thinking
Zena.
it was his fault.
Oh my God. Yes, I
Can
presented
you
this.
tell that story in like a few minutes?
Yes. So we exchanged presents between the teams, and on the official dinner on the Wednesday, I give the American team some filet américain, which is basically raw meat, but it's like a
We
delicacy
put it on our
in Europe.
sandwiches. People, it's like steak tartare,
Exactly.
but then more of a sandwich kind of spread,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah. And I handed over and I said, listen, this is what the Americans do. It's like raw meat minced together. So we got
The
our
Belgians
Flemish.
do that. Yeah.
No, the Americans do that. No,
Oh,
we have it as well. But
yeah,
that
yeah.
was our strategy, Kim. That was a strategy. Quick, filet américain. That's why we call it American. We have the Flemish beef stew, which is
Oh, yeah, yeah.
slow cooked, a lot of patience. And that's how we were going to beat the Americans. That was sort of my dinner speech. And I handed them over some filet américain, this raw meat. And it was the semi-finals in the summer. It was really hot in Ostend, and I said, and it tastes absolutely delicious when you let it simmer in the sun for a little bit. Then it really, all the flavors come out. 2 days later, there's two people from the American Fed Cup team in hospital with food poisoning. So I never know, but I hope it was not from tasting this filet américain in thing. But
So
yeah, that was
Carl was always into, the storytelling as well, and creating a fun energy. And
I've gathered that.
I think you can figure that out from this
well,
conversation. But
well, one
also,
fun
it's very
thing.
passionate about everything, right? Like that was one of the fun things about.
Do you remember I drank champagne on court in the quarterfinals? We played the quarterfinals against Russia, and Russia had won the Fed Cup in 2005, right? And we played them in Wallonia somewhere in the French part of Belgium. And this is a big discussion, Kip, because the fifth match is doubles. You and Justine are in the team, haven't played each other, and both have been by now world ranked players,
Rivalries,
a lot
right?
of
Like teams were,
animosity and
it
stuff.
was like,
So the big question for the media weeks in advance was, oh my God, they're both going to play. What if it's 2-2 against Russia?
are
Petrova,
they going to play
Kirilenko,
together?
Dementia, are they going to go to play together? And so as it happens, it's 3-1 after the singles. And so there's no, the doubles is a match that's not relevant anymore. And I remember going to the stadium speaker, Vincent Stavot, right? You remember Vincent from Arrayon and those junior tournaments. And I go to him, and because I went to Kim, Justine wins the fourth match. We win the tie 3-1. And I go to Kim, I said, listen, why don't we do something fun? And you guys everybody thinks you're not going to play because of this rivalry, even if it's a team event. Why don't you just play for fun? And so it's 3-1. And I go to the stadium speaker. I said, listen, tell the people not to go away because Kim and Justine are going to basically do an exhibition match. And he didn't want to announce it because he didn't believe it. He couldn't believe it that Kim and Justine were going to play. So they end up playing, and we had Aquarius as a sponsor, or I think, I don't know which one.
It's
one
like
of the sports drinks.
our
And
Gatorade.
we filled it with champagne. So I was coaching that match, and I was already drinking champagne during that match. So that's probably why you lost the doubles as
Listen,
well.
drinking is a common hobby for Belgian men.
Yes, yeah, it's very common in Belgium. But that was great. I mean, that would have probably been beating Russia in that fashion. Having the two of you play together was fantastic. And in the end of the year was a little bit less when we lost to Italy. That was a bummer. But
I always loved playing Billie Jean King Cup. Like I feel like it just changed our. It just changed it up a little bit. Just, always being by yourself. And then like, I feel like I was a class clown, like a lot of the times in the teams as well. Like I was, pulling pranks on like the physios and like things like that. But just a lot of fun to just go out to dinner together and cheer each other on and like be that supporter as well. Like, and so I've always loved playing the Billie Jean King Cup, Fed Cup in my days. And, it's so fun, and like I love watching the Davis Cup, and it's so I'm excited for this weekend.
Did you guys wear the same clothes, Kim? Did you all wear the same clothes back when you were playing for the dinner?
Yeah,
and how
it depends. I don't know.
Okay.
We
the
did
official dinner, yes.
The official dinner, yeah.
Yes, not all the.
But
not all the dinners.
But there were times like where we didn't have a sponsor for it or something, right? Like, but we did most of the time. I
always feel like that is, you are just prayers up to whoever the stylist is, because sometimes those outfits, I'm like, oh my, but you got to do it. It's a team exercise. But that's part of the fun though, right? Like I've done many or hosted many of the ties for the US, and I've been at that team dinner, and you see the teams on the practice courts, and it is such a neat environment. And also it's cool for the fans to see, Coco Gauff on the sideline with, a headband with like American flags, antennas sticking up, that you don't get that anywhere else. So it's fun for the fans, and also interesting and different for the players. Tough to fit it into the schedule, but worth it, right?
Right. Definitely. I mean, there were times where I feel like, I also decided not to play because it was, I just feel like my body was tired, or mentally it was just like another, struggle and to fit into the schedule, or I just wanted to focus a little bit more on my kind of personal career. And then, but there's always that guilt too, right? Because you do feel like you're kind of leaving your country behind, and especially when you are one of the best players together with Justine, like in the country, like you want to take on that responsibility. And but yeah, it's part of, I guess, growing up and making some decisions that are hard as well. And but it's also fun. Like it was great for us because we didn't have a lot of tournaments that close to home, or in Belgium, and so it was really fun to have everybody there and to really feel the crowd support.
And you really did enjoy that team thing, and I think you probably played, I think, more ties than Justine. I would have to look that up, but it wasn't, of course, you were no longer. I don't know if you remember that letter that I left on your pillow when you arrived in the hotel
in Ostende.
Yes, I had to do it. No, that was the one in against Russia in Charleroi.
Yeah.
And so I always jokingly, Blair, said also when Winter Cup and Summer Cup with the junior events, when in the team events you're allowed to coach, when Kim and Justine were very young, there was, Kim spoke a little bit of French. Justine barely didn't speak any Flemish, any Dutch. So in the 90 seconds that we could coach, I actually had to split my time: 45 seconds in French and 45 seconds in Flemish. So I had to sort of split the information in two languages. So we were disadvantaged. Luckily enough, the girls were so good that it didn't really matter how much I talked. But I remember one really sweet anecdote was this. They played together for the first time, I think, in 2006, since 2001 or something. And a lot have happened since 2001 and 2006. and I leave a little note. I said, listen, let's go back to the time under 14 when you were European champions, 2 young girls that just enjoyed playing tennis. And we were traveling around the world, winning tournaments left, right, and center. But by now, 10 years later, this had become such a big thing. The media was on that. They were no longer number 1 and number 2 under 14 in Belgium. They were number 1 and number 2 in the world on the big stage. So it became very, very sensitive. And then I'd given this little note, both with the picture when they were 14, and then a little letter for Justine in French, Kim in Flemish. And then at one point, Wednesday or Thursday, not Kim, not Justine had mentioned this letter. And I thought this was like my big tactical move
to break the ice.
to break the ice and get the atmosphere going. Nada, nothing. And I'm like going like, oh my God, have they chucked it in the bin? Did they think this is rubbish? And then at one point, one evening, not in the official dinner, but Justine takes the word and she stands up and says, I want to say something. I know for so many years I haven't been available, but this week it's just been so amazing. And I'm so happy to do this week with Kim again. It has been so many years and I've realized maybe didn't make the right decisions in the past. So there was the first acknowledgement from Justine, sort of in reference to this letter. And I'm looking to my right, and there's Kim like crying, like, and I was like, and by that stage, we hadn't hit a ball against Russia. But for me, that was victory already. That Kim and Justine really felt like this is actually a cool thing, because it's not an easy thing. Yeah? The Billie Jean King Cup or the Davis Cup, you're on your own, 48 weeks of the year. And then you've got these 4 weeks per year where you need to be friends with maybe your biggest rivals and stuff like that. It's not easy. Maybe a little bit more easy on the Davis Cup than the Fed Cup or the Billie Jean King Cup. There's some arguments for that potentially. But yeah, that was Billie Jean King Cup.
Maybe we need to do a little pronostic, a little how do you say that in English, Carl?
Drum roll?
No. Oh. Yeah, am I doing this?
Prediction.
A prediction on the tie for this weekend coming up. Belgium, America.
Who's playing for Belgium?
We have Elise Mertens is playing. We have Hanne van de Winkel, Greet Minne, and
Sophia
Kostelas. Sophia Kostelas is on the team. And then I also think the doubles player, I forgot. Magali Kempe. Yeah. But Elisa hasn't played for a long time, so she's playing for the first time again. We have the Olympics coming up too, right, in a couple of years. So that's that also plays a role in that.
Yeah, listen, and Migula, Anisimova, and those players, they're not coming. It's that format on the thing. Although it is on clay, it is in Europe. They could stay there potentially. It's a tricky one, but yeah, I would go with Belgium on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, the U.S. team, just for those who are curious, it's Haley Baptiste, McCartney Kessler, Eva Jovic making her debut.
Listen, it's not an easy. It's a tough. But it's a beautiful city that they're playing in. It's a beautiful venue. Like the stadium's nice. There's great food besides the food poisoning 20 years ago. But it's a really nice venue. And if, maybe it's a little bit of a culture shock for Americans, because I have noticed that on my husband's side of the family, when they do come over, they're, in the past, there was like, some of them were like bringing ketchup and iced tea. And like, I was like, guys, really? Like, you think we're like a third world country or something? But it is a very nice place to go visit.
Yeah. They think Belgium is like a transit zone to Europe. That's like, so it's a proper country. It's a nice country.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Jovic and Kessler have done well, right? Last week.
Yeah, Jovic is playing well too. Like
they're players on form. So it's always tricky. And playing for your country brings extra nerves with it and stuff like that. You didn't play your best matches in the Fed Cup always either, because it brings out this extra element of expectation and so on. So
Yeah. The U.S. also has Melekar Martinez and Katie McNally, which that's probably a discussion for another day, but good to have people who are really good at doubles in the lineup.
Yeah.
So, but this will be fun. We shall see. Team USA represent and Team Belgium over here. We'll see.
I need to wear my red shirt.
That's right.
Yes.
All right.